So far, we have seen two different ways to identify services when defining a microservice architecture. To increase our chance for having a good service decomposition, we can adapt and use a couple of principles from object-oriented design when applying the microservice architecture. These principles were created by Robert C. Martin, also known as Uncle Bob, and were described in his book, Designing Object-Oriented C++ Applications Using the Bush Method. The first principle to discover is the single responsibility principle, and the second one is the common closure principle. So let's take a look at these principles and see how they can be applied to the microservice architecture. A class should have only one reason to change. That is how Uncle Bob presented the single responsibility principle. What we have to know at this level is that each responsibility that a class has is a potential reason for that class to change. If a class has multiple responsibilities that change independently, the class will not be stable. To avoid this, we have to define classes that each have a single responsibility and hence a single reason to change. Instead of applying the single responsibility principle on classes, we can apply it when defining a microservice architecture by creating services that each have a single responsibility and then a single reason to change. This will automatically reduce the size of the service, but the most important thing is increasing the stability of the service. Concerning the common closure principle, Uncle Bob said, the classes in a package should be closed together against the same kinds of changes. A change that affects a package affects all the classes in that package. The idea is that if two classes change in lockstep because of the same underlying reason, then they belong to the same package. This is the core idea of the CCP, which aims to improve the maintainability of an application. We can apply common closure principle when creating a microservice architecture and package components that change for the same reason into the same service. Doing this will minimize the number of services that need to be changed and deploy when requirements changes. Ideally, a change will only affect a single team and a single service. SRP and CCP are only two of the 11 principles presented by Bob Martin. They are particularly useful when developing a microservice architecture. To have an idea on the remaining 9 principles that are generally used when designing classes and packages, I invite you to check the link I put in the description.